At American University in Washington, D.C., activism is a key part of the college experience, as many people on campus have participated in student-led protests. The dynamics of these protests could soon change, however, as AU administration announced that it will consider arming its campus police force. The decision to possibly arm AUPD is worrying to student leaders such as Owen Camferdam, who is the president of YDSA.
I mean, whenever there is a protest, it's AUPD who's kind of standing there, standing by watching, and it's a very, very different image if that watcher has a gun or doesn't, especially if they are, part of the powers that be that you're frustrated with. I think it creates, even if the gun isn't out, it sort of creates it increases the divide, which is kind of the reason we're protesting in the first place. So to me, it's counterintuitive.
Ben Parker has attended some of the protests that Camferdam himself has organized and shared similar frustrations of the prospect of campus officers being armed.
A lot of the protests I've been to have either been monitored or even shut down by AUPD. But I generally have had good experiences at the protest. I think AU has a student body that's willing to protest. I think it's a little bit smaller than it could be, and I think that certain protests are allowed to happen a lot easier than other types of protests. For example, SJP protests get shut down very, very easily. AUPD has been seen recently shutting down SJP protests, and if they were to do that with guns on their waist, that doesn't sound great to me.
The shutting down of student-led protests, paired with the investigation into an armed intruder being present on campus, has prompted more debate as to whether campus officers should be armed. However, many students are left wondering why it's even a debate.
I don't know where this started, because I don't think any students are calling for it. Every student I've talked to has been enormously against it. And I know AU, the administration, held some forums to let people who agree, disagree, or are neutral on it, speak their mind. So I think that was good, but I think, it should be apparent that the students are obviously not for this. And honestly, I think that's where the conversation should have stopped.
Owen's theory was right, as 80% of students voted no to arming AUPD in a recent poll released by the university, with an additional 74% opposing the presence of any weapons of force, including tasers. This will be a stark difference from many schools around the country, where campus police are usually armed.
I feel like in my time as a student here and in my position at the newspaper, I've just encountered a lot of different people, and I've had a lot of different conversations with students about the fact that our police on campus are armed. And I can definitely say that from the majority of the conversations I've had around it and the majority of the opinions that I've heard, a lot of students on campus don't support the measure and don't support the fact that we're walking around on campus where our police officers have weapons.
Riley attends a university where cops are armed and where this incident occurred last spring.
Power has been abused by our police force, and I definitely think the fact that they have guns doesn't make people feel safe, at least the majority of students who I know. And I think that when cops have a gun, like in this situation, and they are armed, I think that they act more intimidating because they know they have a physical weapon of power over someone else.
Reporting for COMM 420, I'm Joey Mal.